Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Doug Dickey, my friend. We were just talking about before we pushed the record button. How long have we been friends? Over 30 years.
Yeah,
So,
32 years it would be. June 5th, I believe we first met in Tri-Cities, Washington, 1992.
wow, that
So,
was about an opportunity and about being healthy and
yeah.
wealthy. Yeah, well, we've been hanging together, and our lives have been intertwined for some time now. And in fact, Doug, tell us about your journey because you've had a lot of different ideas when we first met, and you've moved along on just parallel paths. And
Since 1992, that's a long story, a lot of ups and downs. But just in the recent past, how I got introduced to network marketing, I sat through one of those quick Amway drawn circles on the board, and it caught my attention. And I lasted about a week in that company. And I thought, oh, I can't do this. I hate rejection. But I was so excited about the opportunity. I shared it with somebody that came to my house to sell me a vacuum, a Kirby vacuum salesman. And then that led
Michael
to
Anthony.
Michael Anthony, who then came, and I can't remember if I met him beforehand or he came out with you to my house, and you had a Mercedes, and that was impressive. And so I joined that day and had a product experience right away. And that kind of opened my mind to network marketing. And at the time, I thought, oh no, I found this incredible company, but I don't know anything about network marketing. So I have to do all my learning in the company that I really want to grow in. I wish I'd learned ahead of time, and then I could have. It's sort of like being in the race, the Tour de France, and it's your first 3 days pedaling. And so you kind of wish you had had 2 or 3 years to prep for it. So I remember having that thought, but I soon turned into not liking network marketing because of different experiences, different companies that didn't have integrity. They were there for the money, they were there for something about them and not about others. And I remember Larry Prophet talking about this. We feel like we deserve, if we deserve something, we really are saying to serve. That deserve kind of means to serve. If you serve others, then what you receive, you've earned. And so I remember that being a strong force that we need to serve others. And so I looked for companies that had products that supported my belief system that I could make a difference. I'm really an idealist in that I have to make a difference. I can't sell a bag of rocks. To me, it just doesn't mean anything, and I don't want to put any time into that. I need something that has a impact on other people's lives. And so I got out of network marketing in 2000. I got rid of my distributorship. I think I'd reached the level of gold in the company that you were in. And I got out of it and went into my own business. I started a company selling fertilizer, a specialty fertilizer. The manufacturer of that fertilizer was a liar, didn't speak the truth, ended up failing, and so I was out of business. And one of my partners said, can you invent another fertilizer like that one? And I said, I don't know what to do. And he says, I'll pay you. I'll pay you your monthly rent and whatever money you need if you'll spend the time to figure out why that one works so well. So I started studying, and I had a set of rules ahead of time that said it has to be supported in two different places. If it's true, there'll be truth in two different places. So I went after that, ended up discovering why plants grow, why the agronomist completely disagrees with the plant pathologist. The person that knows how the plant functions, everything about it, has nothing to do with agriculture. And so fertilizers are kind of a quick fix. They really don't help the plant with its health. it just gets more yield. And the yield quality goes down with more fertilizer use. So I invented this fertilizer off food grade ingredients that would improve the health of the plant and would also trigger more yield. And it was very successful. You were one of the people who bought some of the first product I'd made on the trees up at your home in Idaho, or I guess it was Liberty Lake, Washington. And it brought back some trees that were dying on your from beetle infestation.
Well, you'd collected quite a impressive array of just historically or really neat heritage type trees that in front of some nice building or whatever, and they look dead, and you brought them back to life. It was very impressive, quite a collection of trees. It was amazing what you were doing. Yes.
Yeah, we've done it thousands of times. And again, it wasn't completely dead. Only one thing can bring back something from the dead. But we know that the roots are still alive a couple years after the tree appears dead. And so we just simply grow it back from the roots. And so this fertilizer has been incredible. Now, of course, I got to experience what big business and big fertilizer companies, how they feel about new startups that are sharing incredible products. And so it was quite tough in the agricultural market. So after a few beatings, I got out of the agricultural market and went into trees and landscaping, which you didn't have to be a ninja to survive. And so I did that for about 10 years, invented 4 products for fertilizer, basically to replace your fertilizer. And then I invented a product to get rid of algae in water systems. And so I had that out. I still sell a product that basically it cleans the water. It doesn't really stop algae as much as it cleans the water. And so I was doing both of those and was also sick from some pesticide poisoning from a pesticide job that I'd had years before and was getting sicker and sicker as I got older. And so, of course, I was introduced to Zeolite through one of the companies that you had been involved with. And I had heard about I remember both exactly where I was when you called and said that you had, 5 lesions on your prostate and it appeared bad, but there was some good news. And I remember that exact conversation and thinking to myself, oh no, this is really bad news. Prostate's not a place you want to have some challenges. And so, of course, we talked about some different things, and you've, of course, been nutrition minded for your whole life. And so I thought, how could this happen to you? You eat perfectly, you do all these things correctly, exercising, keep your body calm, you meditate, you do all these wonderful things. How could this be affecting you? And then 3 months later, you calling me and saying, it's gone. I just got the word back from the doctor and it's all gone. I'm like, how's this possible? And that was the introduction for me to the zeolite, to Rick Deitch's zeolite. Even though I didn't understand it, I remember looking up zeolite going, no, not a mineral. How would a mineral have this ability? No, there's no possible way. And yet I didn't pull the trigger on the knowledge of that. I kind of had a plan going forward for my own health. And then Dave Chan called me and I met with him and saw the differences he had. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll give this a try, especially since I know I owe Dave Chan a whole bunch of money. I should probably say yes to whatever he suggests, which I did. And so I bought the $1,000 pack, which was 15 bottles of Cell Defender. It was called something else at the time. It was called Daily Detox. And started taking it. And 2 weeks into it, nothing. Wasn't doing anything. I hadn't felt any different. And I remember getting a call from somebody saying, hey, how's it working? I don't notice anything. It's not going to work. It's a mineral. How could it help me? And so it was the third week that I noticed some really impressive changes in my health that hadn't happened for a long time. tied to my colon. I had a colon issue. And then it got better and better. Fourth week, I came out of depression. Fifth week, peeing out all kinds of nasty, smelly, awful, dark beer looking stuff. And then the sixth week, I was feeling so well, I wanted to challenge myself, see if this was real. And I drove to the Grand Canyon with my sister-in-law and my son and his wife. We climbed the Grand Canyon from the rim to the river to the rim because it was impossible. And I thought, there's no way my body can do this. It's not real. This is all in my mind. And I did it. So November 6th, I think it was, of 2020, either 2020 or 2021. I can't remember.
And just for kicks, you probably know the numbers. What's the vertical and how many miles? How could
It's
it go?
6,013 feet vertical and it's 28 miles in 10 and a half hours. And I'd done it when I was 21 with one of my friends, and we did it in 11 and a half hours and running down, running back up. So to do it an hour faster was impossible. But 52 years old, my energy was amazing. And just a month and a half before, I was sleeping 16, 18 hours a day, exhausted all the time, could only eat sugars. Anything else but sugars would cause me to be really sick because my adrenals were shut down. So all of these things reversed quickly. So I had an issue at that point. How is this possible? I am a scientist. I'm an inventor. I have to understand the why. I actually know how an airbag functions, right? Nobody else wants to know, but I do. And so it was a challenge for me because my blood sugar at the time, I was drinking about 8 Coca-Colas a day, lots and lots of sugars, which would get me up and moving, but awful decision, right? And so I still was drinking 8 Coca-Colas a day at 6 weeks. I remember having a Coca-Cola after doing this hike, and it's the only thing that gave me a boost of energy. And so because I was doing that, my blood sugar had been all over the place for years. My blood sugar balanced. So how is it possible my blood sugar be 120 in the morning when I was eating these sugars all evening time? So I couldn't figure out how that was possible. And then I discovered that it's tied to this thing called body burden, which is really burden of the liver, and that the liver makes all of these decisions for your body. It does 500 things. And this was sort of the awakening for me that if I tie everything to the liver, if the liver's burdened, it's not going to do its work with the pancreas, with the thyroid, with all of your endocrine glands, which it issues out hormones and enzymes to all of your endocrine glands on a moment by moment business. I mean, moment by moment timing. It is cleaning 2 quarts of blood every minute and has to tell everything else what to do. In Chinese medicine, they call it the general of the body. They say nothing moves in the body without the liver's permission, so, which means it's communicating. The adrenals help with the liver when the liver can't do it. And as I learned more about this, I flew out and met with Rick and realized, oh my gosh, the zeolite does have the ability to affect the body simply by removing the burden of time or the burden of effort that the liver is overwhelmed by. And we're accumulating these toxins over time. And by the time you're 45 or 50, unless of course you had pesticide poisoning like me, where I got a heavy, heavy dose for 2 years, in which I built up faster, but everybody's going to have this issue. This is a problem for everybody because you're eating foods that have heavy metals, chemicals, and toxins in them, and they are going to eventually cause a breakdown in your health. And so what if we could take these drops, the zeolite that's been made to remove these heavy metals, and then naturally pee them out? That's all I did. I didn't have the other products. I didn't know Zmunity existed. Those we brought in when we started Avini. And I started sharing the products with people, doing Zooms, explaining how I was doing stuff. I have over 200 Zooms that I recorded where I was telling people my experience. And you could see how my story got more and more detailed over time as I started to share, oh, this is right. On week 3, I had this issue on top of my head that went away. And so I have sort of the history of all of my Zooms as I've done hundreds of them. And I shared with people and they got involved with this original company that Rick was selling the product through in 2020. And so I moved up through the network marketing using the skills that I had been taught by you and by others through silver training, a lot of experience that I had with preparation and learning how to solve issues. And so immediately became a diamond. It was growing super duper fast. I think we were growing at over 250 people in my group each month, at the point where that company's leader got indicted and made some bad choices and the company went away, which was fully expected with network marketing in general. And so we went to another company even before we had a chance to talk about starting our own. And so that company, we were there for 9 months. The owner changes the comp plan, says, oh, you guys really should be working for free. You shouldn't expect money. And then
He openly shared his detest for network marketing.
distributors, that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah. Distributors, whiny people is what he called them. And so the worst of the worst, I finally had a purpose to share these products, share my experience to really make a difference in the world by helping people understand how this product works. People hear detox, they hear clinoptilolite, they hear zeolites. They have no idea of the technology that's in this. When Rick makes this product, the miracles happen in his lab where he's making it. We're making it in Florida. That's where the miracle happens. The size, the cleanliness, the activation, all of the mechanisms when he makes the product creates a miracle. When it gets to your body, you put it in your mouth, it's all science at that point. The miracle is in his detoxolite activation process. And so when we explain that to people, this is what it does in your body, this is how it works. Most people would not buy this off the shelf. $69 for a little bottle, you got to be kidding. Zeolite, I can get 100 pounds for $100. Why would I buy this? Because the miracle has been made by putting it in the right size, the right shape, the right cleanliness. Is not too small, it's not too big. As Chip calls it, the Goldilocks of products, the category creator that understands how this product works. That's why Cell Defender is your only option. The other zeolites are a waste of time. They're great for cleaning out the gut, but this is the miracles in the production of it, not in the use of it. In the use, it's just science. It's going to do what it does. And so explaining that all of a sudden opens it up. Okay, I understand why the zeolite can work for me, cleaning out toxins so my body can fix itself. That's the cell. The cell is not the bottle. The cell is people understanding what the power of this product is. And so when we shared that, the other company didn't really want that message out there. Wouldn't bring Rick to talk about the product. The best thing a company can do is put Rick out front. Put him out there, let him talk to people, let the people understand, oh my gosh, this guy really understands what he's talking about. That is like the most powerful thing this company could do. So when we started Avini, its whole purpose was not to go out of business. We just want a company that stops screwing up. They just need to make product. They need to get it to people quickly. Stick with distributors. Don't undercut distributors. Don't go through other opportunities to make money. Stick with integrity. That was the whole basis of why we started Avini. And Neil and Rick offered the opportunity for me to be part of the company as a third co-founder, as the VP of sales, to get the word out, to kind of pull the group together. That was to do all of this, the side tied to the networking side. And so I got the chance to then take what I knew, all of the stuff that I'd been taught from you and from Larry Profit and from many, many others, and put it into Avini and hold Avini to this level that says we value our distributors the most. Rick's not at the top, Neil's not at the top, Doug's not at the top, company's not at the top. The distributors, the most important asset we have. You hear Neil say it over and over again. Distributors are the most important asset because they communicate the value of the zeolite, of detoxolite, cleaned products, the Zmunity. Why Zmunity? Well, it helps turn off the hyperimmune response that's caused when you get a bunch of toxins flowing back into your system on the way out. So why is it important we take that? Because you're detoxing 15 times faster than your body could naturally do it through your natural excretion rate. That's important that we know that. Well, why take the mushrooms? I don't know. Well, I've taken mushrooms before. I don't like them. When you understand the reason why they're here, all of a sudden you go, I got to be on them. It helps me detox faster without feeling sick. Great. How about the silver? Well, when you detox, since these parasites also consuming heavy metals, you want to be able to shut them down when they start to roam the body because they're in those areas where the metals are. When you start pulling the metals out, parasites are going to start causing issues. So we want to shut them down. Viruses, bacteria that are harmful. That's why this silver is so good. Then people go, okay, I understand. I really need to take these three. Well, you also need to stop the metals and toxins coming in through your diet. So you need the fiber, help clean the liver and the kidneys and the rest of it. Manage blood sugar. Blood sugar is one of the most important things to manage in your body. So blood sugar, cholesterol, studies on one of the ingredients in our fiber blow your mind. 3 weeks of taking the product and 18 weeks of increased butyric acid or butyrate in the colon, which is phenomenal. This is what stops the cells from swelling, helps replace bad cells so you don't have leaky gut. Butyrates.
It's actually a primary energy source for the gut
For the
lining
cells,
cells.
epithelial cells. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
And and
Brain,
the
brain
only
science too.
food source for them. So they don't replace if you're not getting butyrate. So only 3 weeks of taking it, they saw 18 weeks of increase. Bifidobacterium, the bacteria that shut down first in your intestinal tract and go away first when the environment's not right, they come back with only 3 weeks of taking the product and they stay for 30 weeks. We're changing the environment. So why is that our bundle? Why does Neil knock the price down 20% so people can afford those 4 products? Because that is what you should be taking. Everybody should be taking it. And there's science behind it. There's the miracle of detoxolite, of cell defender. And then the other 3 are to help that one work really well. Everything else after that, maybe the plus hydration, I would say, is absolutely necessary, one of those a day. But there's reasons why each product matters. And as distributors, we have to share. This matters for this reason. This matters for this reason. It's not just here so we can sell a product. We don't have any products that Rick has produced that are just to get money to make another sell. Each one of these products has a purpose. It's part of the whole. Detoxing, removing the heavy metals, chemicals, and toxins, triggering off fat production, triggering up muscle production, replacing the circulatory system. All of these things have a purpose, a niche that Rick is filling. And so if you're taking the first 4, fantastic. Every person you know needs to be taking these 4 products. Every person. I don't care if you're 5 or 10. If they won't eat the fiber, bake it into a brownie. If they won't take the cell defender, open their bottom lip, put some drops on their mouth. There's so many ways that you can get this product into your body. Put it in the food, put it in the water. But it's that important. Saved my life. I believe it saved your life. and there's 1,600 people that believe that it's affected their life in such a positive way that we have on AviniTestimonials.com. And we're just now starting to get the marketing pieces in play. We've just brought on Mickey Dillon, who's a known network marketing, brilliant speaker. Carry a story, just wonderful. It's like we've won our first with 3 years or almost 3 years of time, 2.5 years. It's like as a single A school football team, we've just won our first championship. And now we find Mickey Dillon's just moved into the neighborhood, an all-star quarterback with 10 years, 30 years experience. And he's like, can I play quarterback? Here's the ball. And that's what we have with Avini. It's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so we watch and we go, okay, am I the student in this, or am I the teacher in this event? And we see this taken off. This company, Avini, is poised to be huge because we have our products, we have focus on the distributors, we empower our distributors to get out and share the story of why each one of these products are important. And that's what Chip does on these calls, and I do on the calls, is we answer questions. Why do I need to take this immunity? It's not about the mushrooms. It's about the way the mushrooms are grown that concentrates beta glucans 1,3 and 1,6, which have this wonderful effect of calming your system down so you don't feel a detox. And that all of these long-term benefits simply because we want to calm the system down so we can get 15 times the metals out of our body at a time. That's the power. And so I get so excited about the ability. This is anybody that's involved, whether you've done anything so far, you could have not purchased anything in the last 3 years other than your first pack, let's say, and have done nothing. And the moment you understand the value of what these 4 products can do, I had my sister Rosie on the call on Tuesday with Robin, talking about how 18 months of doctors giving her all of these treatments, and they sent her home to die. And we had her try these products at the very high dose like I took, and she's getting better and better and better. Her body is fixing itself as it had done for 56 years. And so it's so powerful to see this. And people that day, 10 people signed up that heard that message. I got the calls and asking people, hey, will you help this person decide which pack they need? That's the power that every one of us, I'm not a distributor, but every one of the distributors can do. We can impact people's lives by communicating this ability to people. And it doesn't matter whether you've done anything in the past or not. Today is today. Everything is forward from this point. So get involved. Share with the people that you know and love. I'm sure every single person hearing this message knows at least 2 people that are dying, that are struggling with health issues. Have you told those people about these 4? Have you got them on with Dave or Chip or Paul or Tony or any one of hundreds of people to talk about their experiences? Have you sent them the video talking about what these products can do? Take the chance to use your ability to share this product with people and change the world. Who knows, the person you help save goes out and saves thousands of people. What if it was the person that you talked to that got involved that saved the world?
No, this is fantastic. Well, let's just call that a moment to decide. I think we're just ready. We've had a wonderful shakedown cruise. Everything's proven. Most of the products that we have actually been out in the marketplace, have gone around the world for 20 years plus. All what we have about Avini is real novel in that here's this new company, and yet all the products have already demonstrated themselves in the marketplace. Rick has accumulated sales of billions of dollars. And so someone like, I think about Mickey Dillon, okay, 3 weeks ago, I'd never heard of that name. And yet, over 20 years ago, he was on the road with Rick Deitch doing meetings. And so Rick, Neil, Mickey, they've all known each other for years. They like each other. We know they play well together, and they just are very complimentary in what they're doing. And I just believe we're prepared to really have some quantum growth. And I think one of the keys of being really, really happiness and everything is just feel like you're growing and doing something. And I think if you can find something that you can be really passionate about, and then just decide, I want to be in one of the best in the top 10. And it's all just learning how to tell the story well and telling it often and telling it to good people. And in fact, it's just getting people curious enough to take a look at Rick's materials and everything. So it's great. Now, another story, just to maybe have a little extra. And I think about, okay, why is life hard sometimes? Why is it challenging? Why couldn't we just start with Avini in the first place rather than this going through these construction zones before we got onto the Avini freeway, these other companies? But I think one of the wonderful things is I've known you for a lot of years, and you've been a real proponent of silver, this special silver, and you were taking that around, giving it to people, and miracles were happening. And when we started that other company prior to Avini, you gave some to the owner of that company, and he felt that actually kept him out of the hospital. He got so excited about that. He says, this needs to be marketed, and we're going to have this as one of our products. And tell that story a little bit, because you found the Goldilocks of silver that's very, very unique. And a lot of people have used silver. If you're a health nut, you probably have a bottle or two in your cupboard, but people really don't know about the importance of the particle size. So maybe just do a little bit about what you've learned. You know quite a bit about it, and you are the one that gave us this really special shelf-stable, perfect nano silver.
Oh, thank you. Um, so about 10 years ago, I was introduced to a guy who was making a silver atomic physicist, and the silver, he had given it to me. I'd put it in a pocket in the car and never took it. I had made my own silver years ago. I thought I was an expert on silver, and I was making my own at home. Thank goodness I didn't drink a lot of it. I was feeling sick. One of these sicknesses that you know you're either going to die or you wish you were dead. And I was trying to get to my home. It was all clogged up. And I happened to get a call from this person. He said, "Hey, I gave you some silver, like a 12-ounce bottle. Do you have that?" And I said, "Yeah, it's in the back." He says, "Pull over the side of the road and drink it." And I'm like, "No, I need medicine. This thing's really bad." He goes, "Just trust me." So I pull over the side of the road. Underneath the seat, there's a pocket. I drink this stuff. It's awful. It tastes all metallic-y. I mean, it's water, but so I drink it, get back in the car, the truck, start driving again. 30 minutes later, I'm completely clear. There's nothing in my sinuses anymore. I drank 12 ounces of this stuff. He said, "Drink it all." And my first thought was, is this safe? It's like, it's the cleanest water you've ever drank. So when I realized all the stuff was gone in a half hour, I thought, oh my gosh. So then from that point on, I was sharing the product. I'd see somebody sniffling in a store. I'd bring in a bottle and say, "Here." And so I was pretty active sharing it with people. When this issue happened in 2019, 2020, where people were going to the hospital with a virus and having all kinds of health issues, even Gordon Fulton, I sent some product to him while he was in the hospital. And lots of people drank it, and then the next day they're better. And so I thought this was wonderful. And I actually, after 2 years of sending out stuff, I'm sorry, 1 year, I went back to look and see how many of these overnight receipts I'd sent out. And I'd sent over 200 of these bottles to people, overnighted them, that were in hospitals or however to drink this stuff. And one of those was Robert at one of the previous companies, and also Enrique, who's joined us. I sent the product, said, "Just drink it. Just drink it. Take the cap off, just drink it." And they got better. And I kept studying and studying. I have this issue that I got to understand why and how on everything. I tend to memorize everything that I read. And I found there's not a lot there's a lot of negative that silver really hurts people, and I kept seeing these studies that it kills the P450 enzyme and it kills your platelets and your plasma, going, they're just jealous, they just trying to stop people from getting well on their own, until I kept reading and found, oh my gosh, the silver's actually killing a lot of healthy cells. And so I started looking at how they make the different silvers. I just spent time looking in the studies, not on the results, but what they did for the silver. And I realized they were using capping agents. Silver wants to keep changing. The little ions want to keep jumping off the colloidal particles or the nanoparticles. So you could make something at 20 nanometers that has a specific resonant frequency, a specific purpose, size and shape determined frequency, and then it would change. You shine the light on it, pieces would jump off, they would grow, two pieces grow together. And if they grew, the result was always blue skin, blue or gray appearance, and that's Argyria. And they go, well, it's not deadly, it's changed. Everybody that turns blue dies within 1 year. It's deadly. Silver is a heavy metal in certain forms, and the ionic form is the most effective at killing stuff. So somebody goes, I took the silver and it's highly effective, killed everything off, all the bacteria. Yeah, it's also killing parts of you too. It's killing your cells because it kills everything indiscriminately. So as I started to look at this, whenever you get it to a certain size, let's say larger than 5 nanometers, smaller than 20, it doesn't harm any healthy cells. It resonated at a frequency that's very similar to your cells. Also, the bacteria that are good, your body protects them with a mucilage. So your body isn't being affected by 5 to 20 nanometer particles. So how do you keep it? If you make it 10, which is like the perfect size, 7 to 10 is the, kind of the gap of sizing. When you're that size, it's perfect. It fits in virus receptors. It fits and unzips bacteria. It has all these perfect things, but it also resonates at what they call a membrane bending energy at the same resonate that your body does. So it won't affect your body. It won't affect the good bacteria in the body. But how do you keep it that way? Well, a company found that if they do certain things to it while it's being produced, we'll just say frequency, that it stabilizes. It takes the outer two atoms, flips them upside down to oxidize them, and they attach to the water. So pure, pure, pure water, nothing else in it, no capping agents, and it resonates at a specific frequency. So this mechanism stabilizes it so it can never change. It doesn't get smaller, it doesn't get larger. It takes tens of thousands of volts to change it. So this stabilizing process, and there's several companies that do this. There's several companies that stabilize this way. They just charge so much for the silver, you can't afford it. And that's why a highly efficient commercially available silver, which really is water, it's 99.9999997% water. So we're selling water that has a teensy amount of the silver, about 994.5 billion atoms per drop. So there are nanoparticles per drop. So it's very, very, very concentrated, but there's a lot of space between them.
I always rounded up to a trillion particles per drop.
That's right. And if you shine a light through it, take water, put it in a glass, put silver in a glass, they both look the same. Shine a red or green laser through it, see the refraction. It's huge, huge amount. The concentration's amazing. But I learned from this what attributes to look for. And we had an initial silver, this one I was selling to people, and I realized it was changing. After 2 or 3 weeks of sitting, the stuff would fall out in the bottom of the bottle. And so, I mean, it just looked like 3 or 4 pieces of sand, but they were silver particles. They were agglomerating, which could do that in your body. And so we canceled the silver, said no more. We can't stop this change. If you got silver the first day versus 6 months later, it was different. And it would fall out of solution because it was being held by something called zeta potential, which is, I call a hope and a prayer. It was being held by a hope and a prayer. Shine any light on it, change temperature, and we're shipping to Minnesota where it's going to be cold. So it would fall out. So we got rid of it. Neil and Rick looked for a while. They couldn't find anything. I looked for a long time and I just didn't give up. And so after about 6 months, they said, we're just not going to do the silver. There's no options out there that are, I mean, looked all over the world. And I found one and I said, this is too good to be true. Everything they're saying is exactly what I want to hear. It's just, they're just telling me a pipe dream. And Rick said, well, let me talk to him. Let me see. So we put him on the phone and they're like telling the exact same stories they told me, exact same information they told me, like the third or fourth time. And Rick's like, let me check it out. And he comes back, he goes, this is absolutely true. So at that point, we took on the silver and got it out to people. And I mean, the things that it does will blow your mind. But we can't share those things because they make a claim. When you share the information of how powerful this product is, it makes a claim. Even if it is university backed, it makes a claim. So we can't make claims. So it's silver, it has all the benefits of silver. Take it. You don't have to know about the research if you can just drink it and benefit from it. And so that's the power in the silver. And it fits in. The silver by itself, wonderful. But with Cell Defender, the two work together. The silver, if since the silver's too large to fit inside the little cage of the zeolite, they're too large particles. They attach to the outside and they extend the electrical grasp of the zeolite. They make the zeolite more powerful so it can reach out further and tractor beam in these heavy metals. It has no negative to the body. 24 hours, it's all peed out. They've done measurements and tested how much was still left in the body, and 100% of it's out of the body in 24 hours. So that is a technology that's incredible. And we have the exclusive for network marketing of this product. And it's life-changing. We need people just to drink a bottle a month, 1 ounce a week, or 4 ounces a month, or as in this case where Rosie's drinking 1 ounce a day. And as long as you don't go over 55 gallons a day drinking it, you're fine. That's the limit.
All right.
Hopefully that answers any questions people have about silver.
Pretty exciting. So, any final thoughts? I think we ought to do this, Doug. Everybody needs what we have, and almost no one has it. So, wow.
They do. The amount of power you have in changing somebody's life, whether they've gotten sick yet or not, is powerful. And when you understand, you don't have to get sick and nearly die and come back to health to tell people about this product. It's done that for hundreds and hundreds of people. You can talk to that person, you can take that story and message and get the products out to everybody you know. Be on them yourself. It really is life-changing. And I encourage people, and I hear people all the time say, well, I don't like the network marketing. I get you. I didn't like network marketing either. Most network marketing is not quality companies. They were a company that wanted a product and hey, let's sell bottles. And they had a company first. We started this company to support the products. We need a way to get the product out. So I understand I don't want to do the networking, whatever. Then don't. There's no obligations here. But a person that's doing this as a business will do more work at saving lives than somebody that's doing it as a hobby or part-time. So those that are out there hustling to get the word out, that are building a business, they need the most respect because they are making more changes in lives than anybody else. And so the business side has its purpose. And with a company that keeps its word, that's based on the product, that puts distributors first above itself, that is a company you can put all of your trust in. And that's what Avini is. And Avini will continue to do that because we understand that distributors don't harm companies, the owners do. And when you understand that, you stay away from things that harm the company. And that is really, really important. What we offer, there's not another company anywhere out there. I promise you. And we need everybody. We have 12,000 distributors, about 10,000 retail customers, and we have 350 million people in this country. Let's do some math. How many people do they have to talk to every month to get to 350 million? It is a absolutely arduous process, but it is necessary. And opportunity-wise, what would that be if you had 10 million people in your group, Dave? I mean, think of the world's changing overnight. It would be absolutely incredible. By that point, we'll be in 25 countries, I'm sure. So this is that important. People need to place this on the top shelf in importance. And so with that, thanks to everybody who is involved with Avini. Thanks for being the best part of Avini. I appreciate everything that you do. And we're always here to help.
Thank you so much, Doug.